Okay, we added the census tract data here, so we drag the tract shapefile to the map. So the tracts layer is added to the contents pane. The tracts cover everything except the labels, so which is right here. The census tracts data covers Los Angeles and including the islands of Catalina and San Clemente. And we will zoom to the city of go back to map and Los Angeles there. And the tracts layer make up of contiguous polygons that are reminiscent of jigsaw puzzle. So because each piece of puzzle represents a different set of living, breathing human beings, it's natural that each tract attribute values for population, income, age, and so on will be different. And we will open the attribute table. Now we can see that attribute table contains in the contents pane. We will right click on the tracts. And then go to attribute table and we will scroll across the table to look at the fields. So going to close this out and move this back. All right. The table has some identification code followed by selected population and housing attributes. Some of the field names are fairly easy to interpret, others less so. So here we will see how to get more information about the information by accessing the metadata. Now we will locate the population density, CVI data, population density, which is right here. Stands for current year. So CY is current year, and which is for the census data 2015. So this attribute stores population density, people per square mile for the year of 2015, because one of the criteria is to locate the park in a densely populated area. This is relevant information. The attribute doesn't tell you what value should be a threshold for high density, but it gives you a way to start making patterns on a map. Close the table when we are finished looking at it. We will symbolize census tracts by population density, symbolizing a layer by attribute, also called thematic mapping. So thematic mapping is symbolize a layer by an attribute. So that which allows you to see how values are spatially distributed. With the tracts layer selected in the contents pane, we will open the symbology pane by clicking symbology on the appearance. So now I click on this and go to appearance, and by default all features are have a single symbol. That's why all the census tracts are purple. So whatever color they happen to be, here it's just green. In the symbology drop-down list, we will click so symbology, we will click graduated some colors. The map updates automatically on the basis of some default values. So now in the field drop-down list, we will click population density, CVI, and normalization. We should just leave it and change the color scheme to yellow to red. Okay, so we can view the names of the scheme by clicking the Show Names checkbox at the bottom of the list. So right here. And additional color schemes are available by clicking the Show All checkbox box. Check there, so we can see more. So a lot of is going on here. If we expand the symbology chart, the same information is also available in the contents pane. The value from the population density attribute, which ranges from 0 to 900. So I'm gonna close this out. We can do descending. So it's from 96,824.5 to 0. So it means some parts of the place there is no people ascending. Let's go to ascending. So you see 0, and let's go back to descending. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to divide it into 5 classes. The starting and ending values for each class are calculated by a natural breaks algorithm that separates clumps in the data. That is why the range of values is different from class to class, and why classes break as similarly arbitrary numbers. Each class is associated with a symbol in a color ramp, and it is displayed on the map. We will change the classification. Quantitative symbology is flexible, and we can present data in many ways, because all we want right now is a general sense of viable areas for the project, and because we are going to look at a couple of variables together, we should keep the presentation simple. So now we will change the classes drop-down box to 3. Go back to symbology again. For that, and classes we will reduce it into 3 there. And for 3 classes, and we will change the number. So set the classification method to quantile there. So quantile, using the 3 classes, we will easily be able to see high, median, and low values. The quantile method guarantees that an equal number of tracks will fall into each class. So it should be noted that there are no inherently good or bad ways to classify data. Different classifications may be more or less appropriate to the purpose of the map and the background knowledge of the audience. So we will change the first upper value to 8,000, and then the second one, which clicking the label and trying to type the value into the upper value cell and pressing enter, the second class breakpoint is selected and editable. So now it's 1600, 3 zeros. Okay, and then the upper value will be so now we notice that the classification method has been reset to manual interval because we have changed the class breaks. The histogram is updated too. We no longer have a pure quantile classification, but having your classes break at round numbers makes intuitive sense. So the outlines of the polygons are currently overwhelming the map in some of the areas with the highest densities, making it difficult to interpret the classifications. So now we will click More button in the class breaks area of the histogram, and then browse to symbology format classifications. So any changes made here will apply to all the classifications. So if necessary, we're going to change the property tab near the top of the pan. So now I'm gonna go to symbology. I don't have this. Okay. Go to symbology. That's fine. Alright, so I'm gonna go format all symbols. Okay, format all symbols. Tracts. Symbology. Oh, it's right here. More. Gonna go to symbols, format all symbols. Alright, perfect. There we're gonna go change the property tab. So I'm gonna go to property at the top of here and change the outline. So my outline should be no color. And click apply at the bottom here of the pan, and then click the back arrow at the top of the symbology band to return to the classification settings. which is right here. Now we're removing the outline because we don't need to see the tract boundaries on the map for now. We are interested in them as areas, not specified as tracts. In the label column, we double click on the first label, which is right here, and click Made It Editable and point no decimals. So I'm gonna change it into low, label low, and the middle one will be medium, and the last one, it will be high. Oopsies, high. Okay, so now in the label column, here we did, and low, upper level, in method to natural breaks, reset up level, then being typed in the correct box label. Replace the second one with medium and press enter, and change the third one to high. Click outside the edit box to commit the edit. Change the transparency of the tracts layer to 50%. I'm gonna just type in 50, hit enter. And in the contents pane, we will drag the tract layer under the park. So I'm gonna close this out. So parkland, I'm gonna move on top. So alright, so now we have everything. Close this out. Okay, so zoom out a little bit. Appearance ribbon, and in the on the map we can now see population is concentrated along the river. We can see that it in relation to existing parks. So next we're going to measure distance from the river to the parks. So making a few measurements will improve the ability to estimate distance on the map and give a better intuitive sense of how close to the river the new park should be. So we're going to select the Dodger Stadium bookmark. If necessary, turn off the tracks layer. So yep, which is right here. Right now I don't want to turn off the layer, so I like to see it this way because I'm not familiar with a lot of things. So you can see the population density. This is the park and everything, and this is the residential area. Of course, there are more people here. And then pan the map so that a number of parks in the view. Feel free to zoom in, zoom out. On the map tab in the query group, we'll click measures. So map, and we will have a measure here. So here we're going to measure distance for sure, measure distance. And for measure distance we have options here. And distance units we're going to do is measure distance. Open on the menu option, click the option drop down and see the distance units to mile, and turn off feet. So we want miles. So I think I can do feet will be too crazy because it's a small scale. On the map, on the pointer, changes to a ruler to inscribed crosshairs. So now, alright, so now I'm gonna measure distance. Yeah. So now it changed to inscribed crosshair. So we will move the pointer over the park, such as Cypress Park. Where is Cypress Park? I don't know where it is. Cypress Park. Cypress Park. Right here, Cypress Park. And northeast of the Dodge Stadium on the east side of the river. Click to start the measurement. And then move the pointer so we don't have to drag it to the river. So to the river, so it's about 1.3 miles. And click to start a measurement. Move the pointer so we don't have to drag it. So the measurement result is displayed along the line. So previously I had is 1.3 miles, 0 miles, and here is 1.3. And double click to end the measurement. So I'll double click on it. So then you can see it's 1.4 miles. Click another park and measure distance to the river. So the new result replaces the previous one in the measure dialog box. So the measure distance from a few more parks, so we can measure them and give the answer